WNST summer out there, and I tell you what, there's plenty to talk about on the dark side of the Orioles after the Machado trade and what's going to happen there at 40 games under 500. Plenty to talk about with Lamar Jackson and Joe Flacco and the excitement of 5 preseason games and Ray Lewis going into the Hall of Fame. But there are other stories that come to me here in the summer, and this is one of them. My dear friend Pete Caringi of UMBC Soccer was readily sharing this great story last week, and I wanted to bring him on to talk about it. UMBC and the Retriever Soccer Park, I call it the Dog Pound, was voted one of the top 9 places in the country to watch college soccer, as announced by the NCAA. Pete, first off, congratulations on everything. And you and I have fun, and we have that relationship or something, but and we can have a good time. But when I saw this on the social, I said, I got to have Pete on to talk about this because this is a pretty high honor, and you guys should be proud of this.
Yeah, well, thank you for having us. And yeah, it was. I'm very proud of seeing that. You know, when you talk about the top venues in the country, and a lot of those stadiums we had the opportunity to play in 2014. Talking about Louisville, Creighton. I mean, they're multi-million-dollar stadiums built for soccer, and we've kind of like built our stadium from the ground up. And I'm just very proud of the fact that we were voted one of the top venues to come watch a soccer game, because I really do believe that the community, the Baltimore soccer community, comes out and watches the games, and we've been in the top 15 in the country 2 of the last 3 years in attendance, and that just says a lot about, 1, the quality of play, and 2, the venue. People like coming. It's close proximity to the field.
It's a good experience. It's an outdoor.
And all the other places.
It's an outdoor experience. I've been down to your games. I've seen it evolve, over the course of time. And I remember, 25 years ago when the Bays were running around and whatnot, and we had various leagues trying to form games over there outside of the collegiate space. And what you've built over there is kind of incredible. But to be acknowledged in this way, and I'll be honest, Pete, I watched those games when you were on the run a couple of years ago on the webcam, and I think my wife was in the battle at that point as well, so we had the laptop out and whatnot, and I remember seeing that Creighton, the watching that on the video cam and saying, that's a neat little place. And I remember you talking it all up before you even went there. You felt like you were playing at a little bit of a Lambeau Field, kind of a special place for soccer, and going and playing there and having your name associated there is, that says something, because I know how impressed you were with that a couple of years ago.
Yeah, we were really, we were impressed with Creighton. I mean, their stadium is a beautiful multi-million-dollar stadium. Louisville had a soccer stadium only that looked like something out of stadiums in Europe, the way it was designed. And it was just incredible, the stadiums that we played in. And to think that we were going to be ranked in the top 9 with those schools and how nice their stadiums were just said a lot about what we've done and how it's been built over at UMBC, because obviously we haven't had a lot of money put into the stadium. But I think when the fans do come, it's close enough. The design of it, obviously there's got to be some updates to it, but it's got its own little way about it. And I think people like to come over and watch the game at UMBC, and I was very extremely proud to see us in the top 9, that's for sure.
Well, Lot 17 also speaks volume. I mean, having literally for all of these clubs, and we'll get to the World Cup in a minute, and I'm even going to go backwards on stadiums and stuff, because I took the train in and out of New Jersey, and I see that Red Bull thing. I haven't been to the place up in Philadelphia yet, or up in Westchester, wherever it is, off the freeway up there off 95. I've Google mapped it, and I see it's close. I drive within a mile of it. But, even out in Denver, I saw what they've built out there. MLS now. I looked at it in Nats Park Tuesday night. I looked out, and there's, what they're building, the Audi thing that they built down there. So it really is amazing for your eyes to have seen this coming from where you came from 40 years ago, where in your mind, you still view soccer as this fringe thing that's disrespected here, and maybe it should be, right? I mean, through all these years. But part of the respect is we've built these facilities now, and people are coming, and you've been such an, integral part of that coming from Highlandtown, Petey.
Yeah, well, and the last piece for our town, for Baltimore, is we need a stadium. If we build a stadium, then we'll have a pro team here. It's as simple as that. They want to come here. It's a great soccer market. When you just look at the media, when you look at the Premier League, and Baltimore was number 1 in attendance, watching the games on TV. out of all the cities in the country. That says a lot. I mean, that's an amazing stat when you think we don't have a pro team here, but amateur soccer is big here. It's huge here. Our teams continue to do well. Our teams are continuing to go into the nationals and winning championships. So the level of play here in Baltimore and the area of Maryland is fantastic. And, you know, we're a stadium short of having a pro team. And I know there's a lot of interest in bringing a team here or forming a team here in Baltimore. But we just right now don't have the facility.
Pete Caringi is our guest. He is the head coach at UMBC of the Mighty Retrievers. Everybody's got Retriever fever on the backside of the miracle against Virginia. And we're all familiar on the basketball side, and we've got concerts now being held on the campus down there. I remember seeing the alarm down at the UMBC campus a million years ago, as well as live. But you know, Pete, you talk about stadiums and where we are and the World Cup. The World Cup's now in the books, right? We got a new champion in France, and as you know, I was up in New York with my wife on Bastille Day on 60th Street, watching the French do what they do, and the Croatians. It was a hell of a cup, but now you blink, we're going to have this Qatar thing, and this thing's going to be on top of us, where over the next 8 years, there's this ramp-up for World Cup here. This is going to be an exciting 8-year period of time, and I loved what happened over the last month. I got up every day. I watched every match every day. I love the World Cup. I was tweeting about it. I thought it was a wonderful tournament, but I'm trying to imagine what my life's going to look like as to whether I'm going to want to fly to Mexico City and see games when it's here 8 years from now, because it's something that I've really sort of earmarked as something that's going to be a seminal part of my life over the next decade. It's something special that I know is going to happen here, and that's neat.
Oh yeah, and I don't think you're going to need to fly to Mexico City to watch games. I think we're going to have, it close enough here from New York to Philadelphia to D.C., hopefully here.
I'm going to want to fly to Mexico City and see games. That's what I'm going to want to do.
But I really do believe that it's, I was fortunate, as I told you before, to be involved when it was here the last time. And it's an unbelievable event, and it's unbelievable just to be involved with it and be there. So the excitement's really going to rev up in a couple of years.
Did you get all ramped up like when England was playing? And all I could think about was I watched the World Cup 12 years ago. 16 years ago with Billy Ronson, who loved, the England team more than anybody. And when I was watching all the nationalism and the patriotism in those countries, in Croatia, and the teams that did well to the end, and feeling the pain of Germany, having a Germany jersey and rooting for Germany and seeing them go out early, and Argentina and Messi go out early, and Brazil fall, all these giants started to fall early on. I really did think about, what is that going to look like here 8 years from now? And what 15, 16, 17, 18-year-old kid that's out there in your pipeline right now for you, for Maryland, Sasha, whomever's out there, you're looking at saying, who's going to be that American hero that gets us to the 16 or the 8, 8 years from now? Because I'm thinking like that, Pete. I really am.
Well, he's out there. That kid's out there, and if he has that dream, then it's going to be his time and his place. And I think the nationalism for the USA and getting behind your country is unbelievable. I know. You've seen it. That's what we missed this year, is that USA team in it, and that, the whole, every bar and every area just getting behind the country. I remember when the U.S. wasn't in it and Italy won, and we were young and we were down in Hollandtown, and the whole neighborhood came out when Italy won the World Cup, and you'd have thought that the U.S. had won something with the people honking the horns and coming out. That was just, the nationality. Not
I've been to Little Italy. I know I eat at Amici's once in a while.
Yeah,
I'm familiar.
That was back in the 80s. So I'm excited because I think it just gives it another shot to soccer. It's going to be something that we all look forward to. I'm hopeful that the country soccer part of it is going to get its act together, and that we're going to have a really good team at that point because we have time to prepare again. And just the excitement, like you said, when you look at the fans in England, when they're cheering, when they score goals, and the whole country's behind it. I
was in the street with 5,000 French people when they won the World Cup, Pete.
Yeah,
I mean, like literally, I'm eating croissant
over there.
Yeah, I mean, there was no English being spoken on 60th Street between Lexington and the Park. I'm promising you, man. I mean,
I know.
It was outrageous to be in New York, and we sort of organized it to go to New York because we went to the Bowie Bowie exhibit at the Brooklyn Museum on Saturday before it closed, and we saw the Smithereens Saturday, or at least I did, and we're like, we're going to wake up in New York City the day of the World Cup. To me, being in America, we were going to find a party, whether it was Brazil, whether it was Croatia, whether it was Sweden, England certainly would have been crazy, right? So we were looking for a party, and we found one, and so we had this like crazy, incredible experience with these French people, and we ate the best food that I've had since I left Paris last year.
There you go.
And, you know, all of that is there, and everyone's going to feel that here 8 years from now.
And just imagine if we ever got to the World Cup final with the country all pulling together for one team. I mean, right now we all pull for our cities and our, you know, the Orioles, the Ravens. We all pull for our local teams. And then when you have your country, that you're behind your country, it'll be unbelievable. And that's one day I hope I'm still around that we get a chance to get to the World Cup final and hopefully win it. That's for sure.
You got anything you want to say on Machado? It's open forum here. I'm just going to let you have it, Pete. You can run with the ball or you cannot run with the ball.
I got a lot to say, but it's obviously very disappointing. You know, I wish him well. I'm a really big Oriole fan.
I know you are, and everyone in your life is, right?
Leave is, you know, you lose one of your best players. I mean, it's a move they had to make clearly, and hopefully these 5 players that they have contribute to the team. But it's kind of disappointing. I'm always disappointed when we lose some of our best players. They have to go elsewhere because I want players to come here and play for us here in Baltimore. But, you know, hopefully we'll get some more players after we make some more trades and, you know, get back to I like you, I went to a lot of World Series as a kid. And I went to, in '66, I went to my first World Series and went to every one they ever had here. So
I didn't know that, Pete. I literally, the next time I have you on, I will allow you to do.
Dodgers as an 11-year-old, I was there, and I remember like it was yesterday, and we swept them. And I want Petey, you know, to feel that excitement that I went with my father, and we went to every World Series that they ever had here. So I'd love to get that back, and hopefully. Right now it's not good times. But,
did you play baseball as a kid, or did you play soccer?
I played baseball, yeah.
Of course you did,
Little League
right?
Baseball, Hollandtown Exchange, yeah.
So I could take you to the cage right now, and you wouldn't look like Patrick Ewing, right?
Give me the bat. Talk to the baseball coach at UMBC, Muma.
Hey, can I brag on something? Because at some point I'll find this in my mom's shed. I don't know where it is, but I think I still own it. I'm pretty. You know, there's a picture of it on the wall of me as a kid. I'll find it for you just to verify that this is true. But my dad one day took me on a number 23 bus up to Highlandtown, and you know I hung out in Highlandtown. Jaegers, Hausner's, Mr. Rivera's Pizza. Every pair of Husky jeans of mine came from Epstein's. My mom went to Stella's, and we got the olives and the cheese there. Place used to. I thought it was kind of stinky as a kid, but what do I know? So I mean, when I drive through Highlandtown. That's not foreign to me, but so I when I was a boy, there was a Tom McCann. You remember Tom McCann? Right?
Yeah, Tom McCann.
So Tom McCann's shoe store underrode the pitch hit and run. And they did it in Patterson Park, not on Utz Twardowitz, the field on that would be the east side of wherever the dome used to be, right? And up on that field, I won pitch hit and run as a 10-year-old boy in 1978 in Highlandtown. So I played baseball, but, you know, you super soccer stars. I mean, today, do any of your kids that play soccer that you recruit ever touch a baseball bat or a glove? I'm not being honest.
Unfortunately, some of them really don't even know, like we'll play a kickball game, and some of them don't even know the rules of baseball. That's how sad it really is, because we all grew up playing baseball, soccer, playing all the sports.
Breaks my heart, Pete. Breaks my heart.
And there's kids now that are just so specialized that when they get to college, they have they don't even know what a tag up is.
How does soccer compete with lacrosse? You know, from a kid standpoint, if you're 8, 9, 10-year-old, you got a boy or a girl that, you know, likes sports, wants to be involved year round. I mean, there's so much of that, and look, I think it's a really open debate about whether your kid should be only playing basketball, only playing hockey, but that's the world we live in when it comes to scholarship, I think, right?
Yeah, but I'm a big advocate that you play more than one sport. I think that helps you, one, as an athlete, and it'll help you, and it'll help your kid in general. Even my son, Petey, when he was young, as much as he played soccer, and they were organized all year round, I made sure he played baseball and just try to do other things just to be more active and not just get to the point that, too many kids nowadays when their college sport is over, they're done with the sport, and that's the sad part. Where we continued to play. I mean, I'll play today if I could, but they still have, nowadays too many kids when they're done in their sport. College is over, and they put the glove away or the soccer ball, and that's the sad part because I think it's become so over organized that they get burnt out, and that's why if you let them play another sport when they're younger, they'll seem to love the sport much more. I know all the guys that I grew up with all played at a high level and all loved the sport. So.
It's fascinating you'd say that because lacrosse guys go out and crush each other till they're 30, whatever. Insurance be damned and real jobs be damned, whatever it is. And I always admired that about Gary Gayton, about, all of the lacrosse people that have kept that alive and are still keeping that alive down in Annapolis today.
Well, we got guys now that are playing, they're asking me to play in the over 50 tournament coming up.
Well, I was going to say, they have to rip the jersey off your back, right? Literally, right?
It's over 50.
But I always tell the story that, the most intimate story I have is my dear cousin, who was a very special tennis player in Southern California, in San Diego, went to Arizona on a full scholarship and played Pac-10. I mean, playing Pac-10 ladies tennis, she was out there hitting the ball with girls that went to the quarterfinals in the U.S. Open and stuff. She played with Dr. J's daughter as well, But the minute that it was over, the minute that she had her first hip surgery at 26, I literally don't think she's picked the tennis right. Like, if she has, she doesn't put it on Facebook. And she's got two daughters now that she's married and has two little girls. I don't see her running those kids around playing tennis. I mean, literally.
No, I see that more now in soccer, and that's sad. I mean, I'll see guys, they're 24, 25. I'll say, hey, who are you playing for now? And they say, no, I'm done. I'm too old. 25, you're in your prime. But that's more prevalent now than when we played. You played really competitive until your mid-30s, and then you played indoor and just continue to play. But that's just a sign of the times, and that's unfortunate, and I don't know if that's ever going to change, that's for sure.
All right, I'm going to come back to the headline. Head coach Pete Caringi is here for UMBC. Dude, I'm sorry I'm not wearing my UMBC hat or my shirt. I mean, we're friends. We just get together and do this.
I like when you wear that shirt, man. I see it on Facebook. And you got your shirt on, man. I'm like, we got to get him some new gear out there.
Dude, I told you I walked in my UMBC gear through Disney World, through Epcot. Like, you had beaten Virginia but lost, and Loyola was still playing, so I'm wearing a UMBC shirt. I could not have attracted more people and more smiling, happy, shiny faces. Those four letters, I mean, Pete, you know how I feel about black and gold. I tell the same thing to people up Towson, too.
You've been a big supporter of it.
But I mean, hey, but so top 9 stadium experience, Creighton, Penn State, Wake Forest, Akron, South Carolina, Kentucky, UMBC, Utah, and UMBC, home of the Fighting Retrievers. And by the way, that's a Chesapeake Bay Retrievers, not Golden Retrievers. Get it right. First game is Temple, August 24th, Retriever Soccer Park. Kickoff's at 7 p.m. I know you do Kicking for Cancer and you do all sorts of stuff. Facebook, Instagram, the Lot 17 lunatics down there. Respect to those ladies and gentlemen down there as well. But, Pete, tell me about your team. Tell me what's going on because we are ramping up here. We're a month away, right?
Well, I think, this group now be more upperclassmen. The last couple of years we've been young. So
you've been making excuses after you go to the Final Four, like, hey, we're going to be young, we're going to be young, we're going to. So this year you're not young, right?
All over. So this group will now be like juniors.
I like that.
I'm really excited about a freshman goalie we got coming in from Baltimore. He's been on the national team, Quantrell Jones. Got to be considered one of the best goalkeepers in the country, and he'll be coming back, and I have another goalkeeper returning, Kieran Olafin. So I think in goal we're going to be really good, and it'll be a battle to see who's playing. And then
British, you have some English gentlemen. Yeah, is that true?
We have, yeah. He played at Everton, and he came over. He was playing on the Everton youth program. He's the goalkeeper, and he had a great freshman year. So
Dude, where's that kid when England's playing to go to the like seriously, like were you amongst these?
I was amongst it. Yeah. Oh my God.
I mean, I can't imagine. I should have come over and watched the game with you guys. I didn't know you had like real like English gentlemen, over there.
It was amazing because I mean, and there are certain players on the team that he loves, and there's other players on the team that he don't like because they're the rivals during their Premier League. So
did you serve tea? Was tea served?
Yeah, so it's kind of amazing to be around him during the World Cup because everyone gets on him. Oh, England's not going to win, and then they go past the next round, and then the next round, and his chest gets out even a little bit bigger. And
where else can these kids from Curly mingle with these international? You got something going on over there, Pete. You're having fun, aren't you?
Yeah. So he's very good, and he played a lot last year, and Quantrell is. Like I said, he's been on the national youth team, kid out of Baltimore, and is an excellent goalkeeper. So I'm excited about both of them being here. And then we have guys like Trey Pulliam, who had a great career at Curly. He'll be a junior, and he continues to develop as a player. And Colin Wyatt, who played at Perry Hall High School. So we still have local kids. And then
or as I call it, where my son's alma mater, the Hall. There is no cow. The Hall is Perry Hall. That's what I used to say to people, right?
As a Calvert Hall guy, I didn't, that's hard to, I'm not commenting on that one.
Hey, man, I mean, I got the Curly mess, the St. Joe guys. I mean, Enoch's going to get on me up at Loyola. I box with all of them. Sablehouse gets on me from McDonough. But I'm telling look. I'm in a Dundalk Hall of Fame. Rasig even did a cartoon.
That's a tremendous accomplishment.
It's incredible.
Congratulations again.
I don't let anybody in. They've lowered the bar.
No, not everyone. You and Dale Roth are two that I know that are in that Hall of Fame.
You tell Colin that I'm his biggest fan because he went to the Hall.
There you go. I'm going to tell him that.
Well, I mean, it's either them or the Curly Goons, and I've had enough problems with them. I had a Loyola guy knock an all-star workout baseball. Joe Enoch and his kid knocked the ball out of my hands at the workout after I got him tickets. This is what this is how I get paid back from Loyola people. So, but I'm trying to stay on everybody's good side, even the Calvert Hall people. So I'm equal opportunity hater because everybody hates Dundalk. Hey, man, August 24th, are you doing your big kickoff charity stuff or any of that kind of stuff that I can promote?
Yeah, we're doing. I think we're going to have a big event the very next game. That first game we're welcoming Temple in, and Temple has. Brian Rowland, who was a former player of mine, he was the assistant coach the last couple of years at Maryland. So it's his first game coaching, and a lot of people locally know Brian. So that'll be our opening game. And then the very next game against Rutgers, a very good Big Ten school, we're going to have a big promotion there. And they have a lot of promotions coming up. I know they're soon to announce it, but I know one game we're going to have fireworks after the game. Right there at Retriever Soccer Park. So we've really done a great job of promoting soccer in our promotions department.
Well, I know you've done a great job. You know why you've done a great job? Because you're a top 9, event, in the whole world of soccer for college soccer. That's awesome, man.
Mike D and Seth Nagel and those guys over there, they work really hard, and they do a great job of promoting the soccer program. So we have some events coming up, and that's going to be announced. I think we'll have some big crowds coming up because we have some really good teams coming in, and not teams that we typically play. Teams like College of Charleston, who got to the finals of their league. Villanova's coming down to play us. They're always very good. Obviously, Rutgers. We play Rutgers, Temple, Air Force. They went to the NCAA tournament last year. We're going to play them on a weekend. So there's some really good games, and like I said, it's a fun place to come watch a soccer game, and hopefully we can play as well as I think we can.
You're going down to the academy to play, too.
Yeah. That's always a tough game.
All right, man. Academy. Well, look, rest up. I saw this thing, these headlines. I saw them getting shared because I'm a part of the UMBC community, so that stuff pops up on my timeline. And I'm like, I'm going to grab Pete. We're going to talk some soccer on the back end of World Cup. Did you like the World Cup? I mean, France?
Yeah, I love the World Cup. I mean, I'm like a kid in a candy store during the World Cup. You want to watch every game, and there's excitement, and I thought this was as good as any World Cup ever because there was upsets, there was games that were decided in the last second, and I think that the people who like to knock soccer that it's boring, they couldn't have said that this World Cup because I think almost every game was, kept you watching to the very end. And I don't know how anybody could hate watching these World Cup games, that's for sure.
The goals in extra time, I mean, the part that people hate about soccer, that I hate about soccer every 4 years internationally, is the diving. I mean, literally, and now they've got the video review, and it feels like it's a little more in hand, and it feels like it's a real deterrent that if you're going to get a yellow in the World Cup on that stage for theatrics, but, I mean, the Neymar stuff's, it's embarrassing. It's disgraceful.
Oh, it is, and fortunately, the American player doesn't play that way. If anything, the American player is always out there trying to show how tough he is, and I know very few players that'll take dives, if any, just for the sake of trying to get a foul. But I think some of those players, it's just been ingrained in them since they were young, and unfortunately, it doesn't do justice to the sport. But that's a definite criticism. I think the referees have to do a better job of just taking the people out of the game if that's how they want to play.
Well, the video review clearly shows if you dove clearly.
Yeah.
So I mean,
if you're not getting touched and you're diving, there's no place in the game for that.
Well, there is place in the game for that, unfortunately. We're trying to get that.
Bench.
Yeah. Hey, Petey, take care of yourself. We'll see you down there end of August.
And thank you for everything you do. Enjoy listening to you. Keep up the good work.
Congrats on the accolades, as they say. Pete Caringi, the head coach for all things UMBC. You can find them at umbcretrievers.com. And, of course, lots of good stuff happening down there. Don't need to tell you that. You can find me out in the buyatoyota.com audio vault 24 hours a day from anywhere in the world on your mobile device by downloading the TuneIn Radio app. We do come in crystal clear from anywhere in the world. I am Nestor. We are WNST.net, AM 1570, and WNST, Towson, Baltimore. And we never stop talking Baltimore sports.